What's good, internet? My name is attackslug. Welcome back to WWE 2K15 in 2021 on the PS5. I now have a triple threat match, and if I win this match, I get to fight Randy Orton for that World Heavyweight Championship. We have Kane and Jericho on SmackDown. Let's go. And so I welcome you to a fine Monday here on the program. A new week after a very long Wrestlemania week. We are now in the never-ending, hey, Raw's tonight, tomorrow's NXT, then AEW, then Impact, I think, then SmackDown. It's Monday through Friday. It's every night. We're in this never-ending loop of wrestling. So, I have some thoughts here, obviously, on Mania over the weekend, which I watched all of because, of course, that's kind of my job, isn't it? So I did that. But before I get into Mania here, one thing that was shown at Mania that obviously people want to know about, that what I thought about, is the 2K22 teaser. It hits different, and I sincerely hope it does, because if it don't, they got some bigger problems there. But definitely the earliest I've ever seen footage of a 2K game in any cycle, having shown it at Mania and not, say, in, like, at Summerslam. Because usually that's a much longer loop because it takes, you know, them so long to get the thing up and running every year because video games. And obviously they've had more time this year and last year because it is a 2-year cycle, even though one of those years was in a pandemic, so not quite a full 2-year cycle because of work from home and all that other stuff, but still. Seeing actual, like, in-game footage this early was nice. However, it was like, alright, they showed Mysterio and Cesaro. Great. Looked a lot like a 2K game. Okay. But when you can see the Thunderdome, right, in the game, you can see that branching thing in the roof that they have there, but still fans in the crowd. And I'm like, are they just going to make the arena but not actually make the Thunderdome screens, or is that an option to toggle either way? Wrestling Empire has a toggle there between fans on screens and fans in the arena. That'd be nice. But, again, it's early goings. That game, I would imagine, is out this fall. So we have a lot to go between now and then for reveals and whatever else. But, look, you guys know me. I don't get hyped for this kind of thing on a teaser, on not seeing gameplay, on any of that. And my only real hope for this game is the core gameplay is good. Like, everything else is just kind of icing. But if the core of that cake is still crap, then the icing doesn't matter, as we saw with 2K20. So, yeah. A lot of questions still as we head toward another 2K release. And, of course, I'll be here buying it and playing it as I do, and telling you how I think and feel on that. But that's gotta be Kane, and that's gotta be Chris Jericho, and both men down in the early going. So, WrestleMania overall, I enjoyed night 1 more than night 2. And that may have been because, hey, the fans are back on night 1, and that just having that bit of, oh my god, like, it feels different finally after how many months and months and months. What was it? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, they kept saying. But night 1 had a rain delay for the first time in Mania history, and that was interesting on a couple of notes. Number one, they've been tempting fate for a long time with these open air arenas in Florida at this time of year, because Florida, and the fact that they had to stall for time for about a half an hour on Saturday. And in that stalling for time was a bunch of what I imagine had to be unscripted promos to kill time. And man, more of that, please. More of that, Kane. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that quite a bit, right? But it did get underway. I feel like night 1 was better, only because, hey, it's the fans for the first time in forever, but because of the fact that that rain delay caused some pacing things to perhaps be tightened up a bit more than they would usually be tightened up. So there was pretty much a comparable amount of in-ring action between Saturday and Sunday. Like, that was pretty similar in terms of the overall in-ring time between all the matches. But still, night one, like the pacing of it felt better, and perhaps that's because of that rain delay at the start. And sure, why not? Jericho, the arm drag, good lucha things. Kane, the Hurricanrana, best lucha things. So, they obviously opened with the hosts of Mania, Titus and Hogan. And man, oh man, do I love this crowd for being like, look, we see what you're trying to do here with Hogan and Titus. It's not going to work on us. We're still going to boo Hulk Hogan. Because, come on now. He's not sorry that he did it. He's sorry that he got caught. We know this. So, beyond that nonsense, Lashley and Drew opened the show for the first in-ring with a crowd deal here, and that was fantastic. But that match went on for a bit too long. It was one of the longest matches of that weekend. And granted, it was for that WWE title. No, Chris Jericho. No. How about you finish Jericho in this triple threat? Pin Jericho! I'm holding circle. Referee 1, 2, 3. That was a 2 count. That was a 2 count. Almost like Cole there in that main event. Just wrong call entirely. Wrong call. So, Lashley, shockingly enough, did retain. They didn't give Drew that moment in front of the crowd, perhaps by Summerslam, but he didn't get that moment in front of the crowd to get that belt back. So Lashley looking strong here and building a new star and a new champion in Lashley. So I'm happy to see that. That was kind of one of your two options there for those guys. Can I face somebody? Please? Hammer throw. Kane. Hurricane Rana. So, yes, Lashley retains. Not very many titles getting retained over the course of these 2 evenings. A whole lot of belts changing hands, which was kind of wild. So, that was kind of cool. Hammer throw to the outside. There we go. Now, let me focus on the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla as I do here. So, Natalya and Tamina won that tag team gauntlet match. And man, this crowd was into Tamina like nobody Mina. I was shocked by that whole thing. I'm like, what? Tamina? I mean, okay, look, if the crowd's getting into it, I'm all for it. All for it. So, kudos on booking that to have the crowd enjoy that. Now, Cesaro and Rollins, one of the matches of the weekend for me. Could have used a bit more time there if they had taken off a bit of the time from Lashley and Drew and gave it to Seth and Cesaro. Would have been nice, but, you know, hindsight, 2020 and all that. But those two delivered as I thought they would, and they did. So kudos, and the right man won. Cesaro should have won there, and he did. And I was very happy to see that. Now, Jericho, go and get that Rampage. Kane, go and get that Slug Sploder. And the Slug, go and win this matchup. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be Slug. Pinfall, power pin. Randy, it's gonna be me and you. Coming for you. How's that, Vicky? How is that? Now, they did debut a new theme, which seemed like a mashup of the 2 old themes for Rollins. So it kind of combined the Burn It Down with the Messiah theme there. And his fire didn't go all the way up. It was kind of a botch there on the fire because of the rain. It was raining. So, you know, that happened. That was a dominant victory. I've decided he'll face the champion at SummerSlam. So how many weeks? It's August 2018. 4th week. It should be now. Me and Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Will the boyhood dream come true? Let's find out. There we go. And here we are. SummerSlam, the Pyro, the Spectacle. So, AJ Styles and Omos versus The New Day. We have a new Raw Tag Team Champion, as I thought we would, because you don't debut somebody that huge and then not have them win their match. That'd be just stupid. But, number one, I thought this match was a pretty much textbook 101 small guy, big guy on a tag team match. Is that you keep in the small guy and prevent him from getting into the corner to tag out his partner, and when they do, the crowd is hungry for it, and it makes sense. The only thing I didn't like here was the way that Omos was like holding his arm out straight and like not down towards AJ to tag him out. Like, that was weird. But besides that, now it's like, all right, well, then who beats them and when and where on Raw in terms of tag teams? Because their tag division is a bit anemic, so I don't know. Now, Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon in the cage. As someone who typically does not like watching cage matches and is kind of iffy on Braun, but I know that Shane can usually deliver, this match was alright. Like, I thought it was not bad at all. It got the job done, certainly, in terms of what they were trying to do here, and Braun beats Shane. And Randy, double champion. So, WWE and World Heavyweight Champion Randy. Those belts are coming to me. Me. Randy, and your title entrance here. Now, the Bad Bunny tag team match had the grandiose entrances here between Miz and Morrison and a bunch of bunnies doing their hey hey hop hop, and then Bad Bunny on a truck, on a semi, just like standing on the actual like back part of the truck and riding in. Sure. And I think a lot of fans now are realizing what I said months ago. Respect, man. He loves the business. He put in the work to make that match good. And he sold his ass off in that match. So, he did a Canadian Destroyer in that match. So, yeah. Respect for Bad Bunny. But, I'll also say that continues the streak of celebrities win at WrestleMania. One day, somebody will be a celebrity and understand that is the streak and want to break that streak and want to come in and lose. One day, but not today. So, the main event of the evening, night one, was indeed Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, and that was a main event caliber match, to be sure. Enjoyed it quite a bit. They put on quite the show, and new SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. That one surprised me. I'm like, it's not quite her time yet. But no, they did it. They put it on her. And that was fantastic. All around, enjoyed that as the end of night one. Making history. Doing big things. Now, notable not there anywhere on night one or night two is the fact that there was no Becky, and she definitely teased it on Twitter, but she is a troll on Twitter, so, you know, you gotta think, man. Becky likes to troll. Wasn't there. No Brock Lesnar, which I didn't think we would see a Brock Lesnar. And no John Cena, who's been in Canada filming Peacemaker for HBO, so that one also not surprised. But hey, if he stayed away from that Randy Orton and Fiend business, then that's all the better for John Cena, who is still stuck in the zone there with the Firefly Funhouse zone from last year's match. Now, night two did open with The Fiend and Randy Orton. And I told y'all, people were like, well, how are they going to solve The Fiend being burned and crispy? Is he going to be burned forever? And I'm like, The Fiend is magic. He does dumb magic things. He'll just do a dumb magic thing and then be back to regular. Like, that's not even a question. Not even an issue. Like, and sure enough, he walked through a hallway of, like, LEDs, and he returned to being the Fiend that he debuted as. Like, I think the top was different, but it didn't have the jacket, but otherwise it was you know, the same mask and the same pants, and unfortunately also the same red lights were back. And I'm like, man, I hated those red lights, and they brought him back too far with The Fiend. And that was a 5-minute match, to which, number one, they had a gigantic box, right? A gigantic Jack in the Box, in which The Fiend emerged from after Alexa spun the thing there, the crank, right? Fine, gonna have your big Mania entrance, your return of that version of The Fiend. You're obviously gonna jump off the box there and clothesline Randy from that. Fine, but the swerve here in this 5-minute match is that the power now, the higher power, it was me, Bray, it was me all along, I guess is now Alexa Bliss. and new champion. Just like The Fiend got thoroughly trounced last night by Randy Orton, I just trounced Randy Orton. So, one finisher, like last night. One finisher. So yes, Alexa Bliss emerges from the box. Alright, here we go. The boyhood dream has come true. And new World Heavyweight Champion, the Masked Nerd. I did it. I got that belt. I did that thing. Who is the first challenger? I'm going to Raw. I'm going to Disney. I don't know. 4 stars. You came out of SummerSlam victorious. That's quite a feat, but you have a long way to go if you think you are on top of the WWE. I'm saying it here first. Attack Slug. I'm coming for that title. You got it around your waist. Better be prepared. There's John Cena. I've already beat you, John, on pay-per-view. Like, what makes you think that this is going to go well for you? Tonight, John Cena, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and Sheamus compete in a fatal 4-way to be the #1 contender for Attack Slug's World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, fight amongst yourselves. Because I've beaten you all. Although I guess I did lose to Sheamus there that one time. But D-Bry, alright, let's do it. And so, middle of the match, Pyro goes off. And Alexa Bliss is in the box, or comes out of the top of the box, and is doing like the Ultimate Warrior thing with the fake black liquid down her face, like a crown of thorns type situation, which totally distracts the Fiend. He eats one RKO and gets pinned. Randy Orton gets the hell out of there. And that was what it was. Like, obviously it's like, hey, watch Raw, find out what happened. But to me, it seems that the spirit of Abigail has possessed Alexa Bliss, and that is more powerful than the Fiend in some way. So, yeah, alright, fine. There is a somewhat logical line there that hopefully they will explain to us anyhow. So Nia and Shayna retained their belts, but that crowd was still behind Tamina. Nobody Mina. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they did the right thing here and had #1, Owens win the match, but #2, he stunned Logan Paul at the end there. So, thankfully, the fans went home happy on that one. And a great sell from Paul. I will give him that much. He sold that stunner way better than a lot of folks have sold that stunner. Now then, in title changes, I didn't see coming. #1, we had Sheamus being the new US champion. So, alright, cool. That continues there. Matt Riddle and the pigeons in his entrance. I don't understand why it is, but now they were even bigger and CG and had on a pirate hat and a... Bro. Apollo Crews in that Nigerian drum fight was a very short match, and he now has a helper here, and that is the return of Dabba-Kato, and they did trademark Commander Aziz recently, so that perhaps is what he's going to be called now on SmackDown, and so he cost him the match there. Obviously it was a no DQ matchup. That's fine. But I told you the curse, right? The curse is when you have your theme being played live at Mania, it's 4-10. 4 wins, 10 losses, historically. The last person to win, up until last night, was Mysterio at Mania 22. So Big E had his theme played by Wale, and he lost that match. But Rhea Ripley here, the next match, had her theme played, and she won and beat Asuka and is the new Raw Women's Champion. And the difference between those two entrances is that Wale was very pre-recorded. Like, that was obviously not him rapping live, where the audio mix on the thing for Rhea was off. It didn't sound good, but was definitely being sung live there for that. But Rhea breaks the curse on the theme song thing, and Rhea is the new Raw Women's Champion, which to me means that Charlotte is inevitable. We'll see. 4 stars, beaten D-Bry. John Cena also wins that fatal 4-way. So was D-Bry working in double duty there, or like what was the deal there? I don't know. But we know it's John Cena, the face who runs the place. But the funny thing is that John Cena does not need to qualify for a title shot. He can say, I'm John Cena, and he gets the shot. It's happened before. Like, dumb. Anyhow, main event. Roman Reigns, Edge, Daniel Bryan. I got it wrong. Roman Reigns retained. Like, overcoming those odds, obviously with Uso there, but I was thoroughly sports entertained there in that match. The double submission was fantastic. That was the spot of the night for sure. The next show is May the 16th, and they changed the name. It is no longer just Backlash, it is Wrestlemania Backlash. And I'm like, bruh, we know what the Backlash is for. You don't need to change the name. Dumb. Anyhow, I'm attackslug. More videos. See you next time right here. And I'm out.